Good morning to you, Nana. Good morning, Elvis. And good morning to your viewers. Akwatia is come and gone. Akwatia is not the first by-elections we've had in this country. Since 1996, I believe, we've been having by-elections. And by-elections by themselves are unique. Unique in the sense that the constituency becomes the focus of the nation whenever there's a by-election. And because we have everybody who matters, or political players descending upon one constituency, it tends to be a more sort of tense situation, or volatile, I should say. Akwatia is a constituency that has been won by both the NDC and NPP in the recent past. I recollect from the 6th Parliament we had Honorable Baba Jamal. And then Amase took the seat. And then there's a NDC.
Henry Bwachiyado.
And then we had Eskumi, and now we have the NDC take it again. So it is not out of. I mean, it is not surprising that the NDC can also win Akwatia just as the NPP wins Akwatia. But you see, during such elections, the people have opportunity to choose between a sitting government and an opposition government, and many a times the incumbency power and how ruling or sitting governments have been able to run those by-elections tend to sway the seats in their favor. But that is not to say that the opposition party is dead or was weaker, or I mean, it's natural, because I monitored the elections. I wasn't there physically on the day of elections, but I monitored on your channel. There were issues that came up. On the morning of the elections, there were still roads being constructed. There were still equipment constructing roads. There were people who needed to be induced. I mean, it was
the MP says the construction of the roads was the request of the chiefs.
I'm not the person to argue on that tangent, because I have seen projects that have long gestation periods. And so within this period, all they need is to resuscitate even existing projects. And so for me, I've seen it before. I've been there, I've seen it before. So it's not something that I'm going to argue about. But I mean, the fact that they had waited until the by-elections to actually go back is also a point. And it reoccurs. I mean, something that reoccurs, so it's not. But you see, then again, notwithstanding the volatility of such events, I would expect that the political players will also recognize how they have to hold themselves. I mean, I monitored extensively what transpired on your network, and the very sad, or the lowest event is what we saw between the NDC Vice Chair, Sofo Azoka, they call him, and our third National Vice Chairman, Chairman Masood. I think that it was very, very unnecessary. I think that the police shouldn't have even waited for us to write to them or call upon them to act. There and there, I think that the police, I was disappointed at the behavior of the police at the point, because when you watch the video and subsequent occurrences, I mean, it was a cordial atmosphere where political actors meet, they exchange pleasantries. Sometimes they even go to the extent of eating together and all of that. And then they move on. They are all there to monitor the elections, to ensure that right things are happening and nobody is getting an unnecessary or some advantage to the detriment of the other. And so I think that it was very, very unnecessary. And if you look at the conversation where it started off, Chairman Masood was I think he was taken by surprise. And it's very obvious he didn't expect such behavior from Sofo Azoka. But I'm also thinking that if Chairman Masood at the point has had a backup, had, let's say, 10, 12, 14 boys around him, it would have been a very nasty incident. It wouldn't be something for him to shove his hand into Chairman Masood's face like that on camera. I found it very offensive. And for the police, even at the point, I saw that the police was trying to sort of plead with him to stop what he's doing and all of that. And to date, to know that no action has been taken by the police and they had to wait for the New Patriotic Party to issue such a statement, I think that it's very unnecessary. The gentleman who actually slapped or hit Chairman Masood, I don't know. This is assault. I mean, and it's on in full glare of the public. It's on camera. I don't see why and what the police is waiting for. I have heard people trying to praise the police for keeping the peace and ensuring that we had relatively incident-free relative to what transpired in Ablekumanov incident. But I mean, these are not things that you want to see in Ghana at a by-election in 2025. After 32 or 33 years or so, we should really be above this. You see, we should really be above this. And why to date the police has not acted? Why the police? I don't know what the police is waiting for. And these are not the scenes that we want to see. Elections have come and gone. The New Patriotic Party, yes, we lost the election. We say congratulations to the NDC. But you see, in all of this, you will recognize where our party is today. We are in a mode of trying to restructure our party to get ready for the next elections, as all political parties are expected to do. We are having internal contest. So the concentration or the focus of the party on such a by-election was sort of not up to the level that a lot of us would have wanted. But that's
there wasn't enough involvement from the party hierarchy?
You realize that because of the internal contest, there were the key members. Some showed up in Akwatia, but obviously, even when they showed up, because of where we are as a party, there were factions. If one presidential hopeful goes there, he is going to be followed by people who are aligned to him. And then you see that the other, but supposing we had finished our internal election and had a figurehead who was the leader of our party, consummate leader, he goes into the constituency and he will have absolute control.
There's a united front that
there will be, that is what we are working at. And so this by-election came at a time that is not too favorable to the NPP, but also certain governments winning by-elections. I mean, under President Kufuor, there were about 7 by-elections. The New Patriotic Party won all of them, but in 2008, the NDC went on to win the general elections.
At Kufuor's time, I think the NDC won Tamale. There was a by-election in Tamale.
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Given that they won
they
elections.
They won 1 out of 7, I think so.
If this elections was in a stronghold like anywhere in main Kumasi, Bantama, Swami. I mean, notwithstanding the fact that we were in opposition, we were still going to win anyway. You see, so it's not out of place. I think that the NDC is one Akwatia. We'll move on. But the incidents that happened, I think that I want to dovetail that into what transpired in Ablekumanov. We heard days before the Akwatia elections that the gentleman who assaulted Honorable Hawa Kumsin and some other leading members of the New Patriotic Party had been convicted. And the fines that were issued to them was like 6,000 cedis. And I will understand that there are rules to some of these things, the penalty points that will be converted into cash and all of that. But I would also not believe that 6,000 cedis was punitive enough. And because it wasn't punitive enough, then people still could muster the courage to do what Sofo Azoka did. No amount of verbal exchanges should actually put a vice chairman of a national party like the National Democratic Congress to do this in public. I mean, no amount of verbal exchanges. I mean, I really can't see what should push him to behave like this in public.
Right.
If the courts had issued very punitive penalties, I am sure that people will be more careful in what they do in elections like this.
Very well.